Thimbleweed Park. Thimbleweed Park is a kickstarted indie game released on the 30th of March 2017, or as it is known by fans and backers, Thimbleweed Thursday. The game was produced over a 2-year development cycle by Ron Gilbert and Gary Winnick with their new development company Terrible Toy Box. Thimbleweed Park was made with one thing in mind: to recreate the feeling of playing a classic point-and-click LucasArts-style adventure game for the first time, and to capture the charm of titles like Maniac Mansion and Monkey Island. This is my first impressions of playtime with Thimbleweed Park. I was a backer of the project and thus I was very excited to see what the team had made. After downloading the game on the first day with my backer extras, I had a look through the contents available, including a digital soundtrack with art for CD and tape cassette sleeves. And while the game installed, I had a look at my Guilt Absolution certificate, which absolves me of all prior video game piracy in regards to Maniac Mansion and Monkey Island. This really set the tone for my experience before I even started. I knew I was back in the hands of masters of the genre. On opening the game for the first time, you are treated first and foremost to a beautiful pixel art Vista title screen, created by Mark Ferrari, a figurehead in the 8-bit and 8-bitish art style, and a former LucasArts employee who famously worked on Monkey Island, creating its vibrant backgrounds with only a 16-color EGA. It can't be understated how bursting at the seams with colour and vividness the art in this game is. It perfectly captures the style and charm of the older games. On further quick inspection of the menu though, the lettering most of all is quite bland. Part of me thinks it's partly because it's sitting against the eye-popping background. I am surprised they did not go for pixelated lettering for the menu. There is also no title, which strikes me as odd for some reason, though the music in the background is subtle and atmospheric, which perfectly sets up what is to come. So the new game begins. The game is a lot more atmospheric than previous titles in the genre. The opening cutscene, showing long-held shots of radio tower tops, making big ominous clicks on and off, locks and chains swinging eerily on closed gates, and a single bullet hole firing through a Thimbleweed town sign. I feel as if they are going for a note of dread amongst the comedy. Maybe because of the sound design mixed with the upgraded 8-bitish art. It captures an atmosphere that games like Monkey Island never could. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? It's hard to tell. I think it gives the game its own character and differentiates the game from previous work of Gilbert's. The opening is very subtle, nearly too subtle. It's a cold opening with very little fanfare in terms of title music and credits, which in a way makes me sad because openings to games like Monkey Island 1 and 2 always pumped me up and made me even more excited to play the game. When the prologue closes and you launch into the game with Ray and Reyes standing over the dead body, it just kinda happens. The title track, which is a great piece of music, is just quietly playing in the background, and Ray and Reyes launch into their cutscene. Though, from here, the game quickly becomes that familiar feeling we all know and love. Fantastically self-referential fourth wall breaking humour, mixed with the generally absurd. Such as Ray mentioning how the body is pixelating, referencing the fact that they left the original placeholder body sprite from the Kickstarter in the finished game. It continues on happily in this vein afterwards. So far I have played around 3 hours. I have barely scratched the surface in terms of the game. I have been diligently searching every nook and cranny and exhausting every dialogue option to great effect. One of my favourite characters, or duo, I have met so far in this town is the sheriff and the coroner, whom have a very particular speech pattern which doesn't get old Reno at all. It is a weird and wonderful town so far to search, and every new environment and character is vibrant and exciting. The streets are lovely and long. scrolling smoothly and quickly with parallax scrolling between layers in the foreground and the background, adding a depth that I have never experienced in the genre. I can't properly describe how this game hits me in all the right nostalgic places. If I was to say anything in the way of criticism, it is that I haven't yet been stumped puzzle-wise. Most of the clues are fairly obvious, though to me, as a well-trained lover of all things point-and-click, I feel that it could be from my familiarity with the point-and-click genre. What I can say as a positive of that though, is that most newcomers to the genre would find it pleasing to begin here rather than the harder old games. The music is lovely and atmospheric, the voice acting, bar maybe Reyes, is very strong, the art and all its reactive lighting is gorgeous, the comedy is on point, the story seems engrossing, and to all you LucasArts lovers, there seems to me to be a subtle link to previous games, but I won't know until I get deeper into it. And hey, it's $20. It's available on GOG, Steam, Xbox, and it's going to be available on PS4 and every other platform under the sun. Buy it, play it, love it. And remember, never pay more than $20 for a computer game. I am Jack and you're watching Hit the Snake First Impressions.